Today on Hampton Roads Business Weekly, we're going back to school.
We will introduce you to some local high schoolers who created their own company as part of the Junior Achievement Spark Tank.
Get ready. Hampton Roads Business Weekly starts right now.
Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Cheryl Tan.
And I'm Zach Miller. Welcome to Hampton Roads Business Weekly, a weekly look at the businesses and entrepreneurs making an impact right here in Hampton Roads. All right, running a business is tough and time consuming. Now throw in homework, pop quizzes, and applying for college.
Those were just some of the challenges facing some of the students at Kempsville High School. Not only did they form their own business as part of the Junior Achievement Spark Tank, they were named Company of the Year. Take a look. Congratulations, the Memory Lights team from Kempsville High School. So glad that we could speak with most of the team today. For those of you who are here, I'd like to introduce you to our audience. Katie Haste, Caitlin Basella, Josh Bensink, Emily O'Connor, Maddie Fahey, and Lorber Miller. You guys have had quite a year. It's been extremely busy. You've been taking part in the Junior Achievement Spark Tank Business Creation Contest, and you came out the winners, the Company of the Year. So congratulations for that. But it's also been pretty challenging. Over the course of 6 months, you had to come up with a product, you had to figure out sales, marketing, and accounting, and you came up with this, Memory Lights. And actually you did very, very well. You sold 46 of these candles and made about $500 in profit. But I know there are many challenges. So let's talk about challenges. What were some of your biggest issues in starting this company and running it?
So I think that for most of us, senior year and junior year is a very busy time for all of us. And having deadlines for our schoolwork, our extracurricular activities, our sports teams, and this piled on top of that was just very stressful for a lot of us. But going through it was a great experience to have for college and our future careers.
You were talking about money, and I know you had mentioned to me, Lorber, that money really was an issue in the beginning.
Definitely, because all of it came out of our pockets, like initially, before we went to and competed at the Junior Achievement event and won $150. But before that, it was just like some of us with jobs were like compensating and just paying for some of the materials.
When we started off, we had to buy all of the products ourselves to make the prototypes and to kind of test it out, because one of our partners, Sam, she's not here today, but she had made one in the past for one of her friends, but she was the only one who knew kind of how to make it. So we all had to learn that, and a lot of times it ended up with melted and cracked candles that we had paid for but we couldn't do anything with.
Any other challenges related to figuring out the message and getting people around you to kind of be on board with the company and the mission?
Well, I was in charge of part of the marketing aspect, so really like just coming up with the designs for the brochures and flyers that we needed to put around the school, and marketing to our peers was challenging. We had to figure out like what worked and what didn't, and what they wanted, and how we would deliver that to them.
I had a lot of trouble with when we were presenting to judges and investors, just being able to answer every single question that they might ask.
It's overwhelming, I think, to have all of these things all come to a head, especially when you're talking about an experience like Shark Tank. You have all these judges asking you questions and wanting to know the answers, and you have to say those answers right off the bat. Would you say that this was a good learning experience?
Definitely,
Yes,
definitely.
Yeah. What have you learned about yourselves, and whether a business future is something you have planned for you now? What kinds of things have you learned about yourself and about business?
Well, I think that we all learn that business skills translate into life skills necessarily. Even if we don't want to go into business, that we can use the skills that we learned here interacting with people and meeting deadlines and just working in a team allows us to be successful in whatever career we choose to pursue after college.
Personally, I feel like I'm usually like a shy person, so this experience really helped me, go outside my comfort zone, talk to strangers, talk about our product, and just be super out there and just push me outside my comfort zone. So, and that's definitely something I'm going to take away with me to college with a bunch of new people we're all going to meet. So, yeah, it's a great thing.
Well, any last words? Anything you'd like to say to someone who's wondering if they should A, take this class, and B, take the jump?
I think there's a lot of good skills that you can learn that are applicable to a lot of other things besides just owning your own business. Like Maddie was saying, talking in front of people, time management, working in a group. So I would say take the class. We all had a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is the type of class you can see, like, it actually applies outside the classroom. Because I know sometimes when you take classes, it's like, when are we ever going to use this?
Yeah.
It's like we actually used it in real life, so that was really neat.
Don't tell your other teachers.
Yeah.
Congratulations to all of you,
Thank
and
you.
good luck.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
The Memory Lights gang didn't go it alone. They had help and mentors from the Hampton Roads business community. We'll hear from one of those mentors later on in the show.
But first, we want to hear from you. So if you have questions or comments during the show, tweet us at HR BizWeekly. We're back after the break. Welcome back to Hampton Roads Business Weekly. We are here with Jackie Gilmartin here at the College Park Executive Suites in Virginia Beach. Jackie, thanks for having us.
Thank you for coming.
All right, so your business model is taking several different businesses and putting them under one roof.
Correct.
How did that kind of premise come about for you?
Well, I was familiar with this format before, and from when I lived in Massachusetts, and I moved down here, and I had difficulty finding a job that was a good fit. Mm-hmm. And I was put in contact with the entity that owned this building, and they knew they wanted another business center in the area because there were only two others. And I knew what they were talking about, and I had owned a virtual assistant business up in Massachusetts, and we came to an agreement, and here I am.
14 years in business.
Just about.
That's a long time. You've seen a lot of different things. What have been some of the challenges over the years, and how do you kind of push through them as an entrepreneur?
Primarily, the challenges have been getting into the market. As a one-person operation, a woman-owned business, I don't have anybody behind me. I don't have anybody financing me. So to pay for all the furniture and get everything going, and then also find the people has been a challenge.
So how do you track your inventory then, if that's the case, right? And so it is a challenge, right? You know, one person, you can only do so much 24 hours in the day. You still want to sleep, you got to eat, you got to socialize. You know, how do you figure out where you're going to get your most bang for your buck then?
That's a good question. My best bang for the buck is just my networking that I can. Having been doing this so long, I've been lucky or fortunate that I've had people help me through, because I do have a strong network and all that.
How did you build that network?
I started with the traditional route, the BNI and all that, and as I've gone through, I have found the other applicable groups like HR Acre and now Crew, the women business owners, things like that, and I've navigated my way through what works, what doesn't work.
And how do you verify that the places that you go are actually giving you not just an emotional return, making you feel good, but that you can actually get some sort of capital return back into here?
To be honest, I'm not real good at that, but I know in my head where they come from.
So if you went to a networking event and nothing happened good out of it, you could track that and say, you know, I met some people, but it doesn't seem like they were a right fit, but I went to this other event, and it went well, maybe I should go back to that event again?
For what I do, there is almost never going to be an immediate return. I recognize the fact that what I do is very specific. It's not like a business to consumer, where if nobody contacts me, you know, I'm not going to go there. I know that it might take a year, 2 years down the road of me constantly being available and visible for somebody to think, oh yeah, I know, I had a call this morning that way.
So when they need it, you're top of mind.
Yes.
So how do you then prepare, knowing that a lot of these sales are 12 to 24 months away? What type of kind of system are you putting them through, you know, at the I just met you, 3-month mark, 6-month mark? What type of things what kind of process are you putting them through to keep them kind of top of mind?
I just keep in touch.
Yeah.
I just keep in touch. And even if it's a lighthearted, oh, you need an office, I'm here, I'm doing my job, something like that. I just do it as much as I can.
What is the favorite tool that you use to help grow your business or sustain your business?
Aside from the traditional, my website, and I have somebody doing social media and things like that, I rely a lot on the contacts that I have for advice. I'm always looking for, hey, here, have you thought of, that type of thing.
That's great, Jackie. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Awesome.
I appreciate it, Zach.
Welcome back to Hampton Roads Business Weekly. Earlier, you met the Kempsville High School students who formed their own business. Now meet the mentor who helped them win the Junior Achievement Spark Tank Company of the Year. He's Phil Ralph of Madison Jewelers in Virginia Beach. We're here today talking with Phil Ralph, the CEO of Madison Jewelers in Virginia Beach. Phil, thanks so much for talking with us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Phil, you were a volunteer mentor for Memory Lights, which is a team out of Kempsville High School and part of the Junior Achievement Spark Tank Business Creation Competition. And they won #1, so congratulations to them and to you.
They did. Thank you. I was certainly very proud of them. Both teams that I mentored did very well in the competition, but for them to take first place was quite an honor.
I want to talk with you about mentorship and about the process that they went through. They did everything in the course of 6 months. They had to come up with a product, figure out sales, marketing, accounting, and then figure out working as a team. So what are some of the challenges you saw them go through way in the beginning?
All of it. I've been in my business for almost 20 years now. I went through different phases, from an online store to working out of my home to a brick and mortar for 11 years now. So I've been through many challenges as a business owner. It's not easy. They were asked to start a company, come up with a product, come up with members within their organization, assign jobs to each member, produce that product, market the product, sell the product, and then at the end of all of it, sell their business if they chose to do so. What I've tried to do over the last almost 20 years and look at doing over the next 20 years, they were asked to do in a 6-month period of time. A lot of challenges.
Right, not for the faint of heart, that's for sure.
Correct. I was, to be honest, I was shocked and very scared for them, because they were going to have to do a lot as kids in high school that still have day-to-day lives. They still have high school, they still have sports, they still have extracurricular activities, the SCA and yearbook and all of that. So it was a lot to take on.
How did you come in and guide them, as you, with your experience in business, know things about how the world works and especially how business, marketing, sales, all of these things work, and they came up to you with ideas for what they wanted. How did you guide them on a way that got them to where they are now?
Well, I tried to be there to answer questions and to offer guidance, to let them know, don't get frustrated if at first you fail. I've had many projects over my years of being in business that I knew were going to be a home run that absolutely tanked, and that's okay. There are very few successful businesses that haven't had failures along the way. They ask questions on products and what ideas they had and how they would work, and so I just tried to offer advice on a little bit of all of that, with my knowledge of business over the years.
I know mentorship is important to you, and you also seek mentors, so it goes both ways.
Correct.
What is the best way to work with a mentor? And it seems like you did very successfully with your Kempsville teams.
Sure.
And they had this relationship with you where they came to you with questions and you offered your guidance. But what is the best way to get something positive out of a relationship like that?
First off, ask. To give, you mentioned I have a mentor. The mentor that I sought out, which my daughter, when she graduates college, will work for them for a year under a mentorship. He's been in business since 1947. Over the years, he sought out many mentors and had, he told me, over a dozen mentors over the years. and he's always wanted to help somebody. But in all of his years of business, he told me I was the first person to ask. So that's my biggest thing is, if you are trying to start something, don't be afraid to reach out to someone that you respect in business and ask for their help. When Mrs. Minoso, reached out to me and asked if I could help with the kids, I was very pleased to, have the opportunity to do so. It's, because it's important to try and guide our children that want to, do something with their lives and help them out with that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much
you're very
for
welcome.
your mentorship and talking with us today.
Yeah, you're welcome. My pleasure. It's great to be here. Thank you for what you're doing for them as well.
Coming up next, we continue our series on growing your business. But first, it's the TAN plan.
In today's TAN plan, I'll be talking about what goes into a great press release. Number one, a compelling headline in the email subject line, as well as the headline of the press release that explains the benefit of the story for the media outlet. Number two, brevity. Get to the point quickly. Why would your news update or event be interesting to that media outlet's audience? And number three, easy access to information. If the reporter wants to learn more about what you're talking about, make links or video available, and make sure your contact information is easy to find. Want more media and marketing tips? You can find me at CherylTanmedia.com. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Right now we're going to continue our series on smart ways to grow and expand your business. I spoke with Dr. Karen Eagle, professor at Regent University. This week, knowing when it's the right time to open a second location. Take a look. All right, Karen. So let's say you have an already existing business. It's somewhat successful and you want to expand. When should you expand, and what kind of things should you look at to understand that this next part of the venture is going to continue to be a successful one?
Well, first of all, you really need to do your homework. And I think that a lot of times when people are successful, they feel like, okay, I've got a really good business going here, I could take this over there. And first of all, you need to study what is over there, and who's over there, and who are the competitors, who's already playing in that game, and are there enough customers for you to take a piece of that pie? And so I think a lot of times people might jump a little bit too soon before they've done that homework.
So really understanding the dynamics and demographics of a second location. Foot traffic is important. What other things are next to you? What about like driving patterns and things like that, and traffic and things like this?
And just the neighborhood, I mean the customers who lives in that area, are they different customers, which could be good for you. You could have a better situation. I know that happened for us when we opened our store in Richmond, and we even had more customers in that area than we had down here. But you have to do the homework and the numbers. And the other thing that you have to understand too is that you're still the person running this operation. And I've done a good job. I'm in my own business here, but when I split off into two, am I going to split into two people? And you'll never do as well in that second location. It's just kind of a known fact.
So what do you
say 80% maybe you could do as well, because you're not there.
Yeah.
And you have to have other people that we all know as business owners, no one treats your business like you.
Sure.
So.
And there's only one of you, right?
That's right.
So in your case specifically, how did you replicate you?
Well, you know what? I actually didn't make the decision to move until I discussed it with a gal who had just recently graduated, one of my students who had worked for me in the Virginia Beach store, had gone to VCU and finished her degree and was doing some other things, and I met with her up in Richmond and said, would you consider running my store?
Yeah.
Because she was like family. And so we started really with her, knowing that if she was going to get on board, then I've got somebody in there that's got my back.
From a financial standpoint, is it run as one business with kind of two different things under it? I mean, what's like the banking situation look like in that? Like, are you back at ground zero? You know, because they say, oh, it takes 3 years before they'll give you a loan, but do they kind of say, oh, you're opening a second location? So what's the kind of financial stuff in there?
It's you know, everyone's situation is going to be different. And we had gotten to a point where, you know, our business was solvent and so forth. We still had to get a loan to do the second location. And so they're going to look at every aspect of what you have in your business. You put everything back on the hook again. You're back to ground zero. You're back with everything on the line. You could lose everything now, which is now your everything is more than that suitcase you had when you first started.
Sure.
So that's why doing your homework is so smart. Talking to other people in the area, get some consultants to help you with the money side, with the legal side.
How many hours of homework is this for you? Since you've done it, you know, are we looking at, you know, I went online, I ran the numbers and the demographics say this, I talked to, you know, all the business owners there and then with the surrounding area, like, you know.
I love what you just said, that you went online. Because, you know, I've been teaching business ownership classes in 3 different colleges in the last few years. And today's student, they go immediately online, which, of course, I didn't have back in the day, which is very exciting to have that element that you can find information. But nothing beats hoofing it. Getting in your car, drive over there, sit in the parking lot, watch the people coming and going out of the business. Go into the business. What is it? A competitor in that area? What does that feel like? Go to another restaurant and hang out there and see who are the people that live in this town. You know, you have to get a feel. You can't just learn it online. There are some things you have to actually
online
do.
and paper can only tell you so much, but really sitting there and understanding what those things look like is still a very, very important thing.
It's very valuable.
Awesome. Thank you, Karen.
Thanks for having me.
That wraps up another edition of Hampton Roads Business Weekly. Like us on Facebook and Instagram at HR Business Weekly.
There, you will find segments from previous shows, plus some great behind-the-scenes pictures and videos. For Hampton Roads Business Weekly, I'm Zach Miller.
And I'm Cheryl Tan. We'll see you next week.
Hampton Roads Business Weekly, sponsored by Regent University and produced by ABC 13.